guys, how's it going? I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Now, a while back I did a review on the Samsung Craft from Metro PCS, and I said it was the best messaging phone on the market. Now you may be thinking, yeah, but I don't want to switch to a prepaid carrier like Metro PCS. So since then, we have compared the Samsung Craft to the best messaging phone that AT&T had to offer, the Pantech Laser. And now we're going to do the same with Verizon, the best messaging phone that Verizon has to offer, the LG Octane. We're going to compare it to the Samsung Craft and see, is it worth it to go with Metro and get the best messaging phone on the market, or should you stick with Verizon? We're going to put them head to head and see how they compare, see how they stack up. But before we get on to that, special thanks to our friends at Best Buy Mobile. You want to hear something new about Best Buy Mobile? They are currently the exclusive retailer for the Samsung Nexus S. Yeah, apparently Google has something against carrier retail stores, so if you want to get the Nexus S, you have to go to Best Buy Mobile, which isn't a bad deal because Best Buy Mobile has this program called Walkout Working where you can go in and buy the phone and they'll show you exactly how to use it. So you have this new version of Android, you want to know what exactly is new with Android 2.3. Well, they'll show you all the cool features so you can walk out of there and you know exactly what to show your friends to show off and impress them with your new phone. So thank you Best Buy Mobile for being so awesome. Thank you guys for watching this video. It's the Samsung Craft versus the LG Octane. I'm Sydney from PhoneDoc.com. Let's go check it out. So here we have the Samsung Craft on the left, the LG Octane on the right. And first of all, just design-wise, they have pretty different form factors. The Craft is basically a slider phone, so you have the touchscreen here on the front, and then the keyboard slides out to the side. Whereas the Octane is a clamshell device. So this front panel here has just a basic dialing pad, no touchscreen, and then you flip it open. Here's the main display, again not a touchscreen, and then you have the physical keyboard. So pretty different. The main difference really is just that one has a touchscreen and the other one does not. And whether or not you want a touchscreen really just depends on you. I will say that the touchscreen on the Samsung Craft, it is a capacitive touchscreen. It's actually an AMOLED display, so colors show up very well. And this video is not going to do it justice, but it really is a beautiful display. And in terms of comparing it to other capacitive touchscreens, it's definitely top notch. So if you've used other messaging phones that had capacitive touchscreens and you were like, this isn't really that great, the Craft is much better than that. It's in the same, it's up to par with a touchscreen on a smartphone. So if you're worried about that, if you want a touchscreen but you want one that's decent, the Craft has a very decent touchscreen. Now the display on the LG Octane is also a good display too. Even though it's not a touchscreen, this is a 2.6-inch display, QVGA, so it has a resolution of 320 by 240. So less than the Craft's, which is 480 by 800, but it still looks pretty good. Colors show up fairly bright, and it's very clear. It may not seem like it's as good as the Craft, but it's definitely better than other messaging phones that I've used. However, I'm going to have to give the edge to the Craft because it has a touchscreen and it's an AMOLED display, which is just going to look better than most messaging phones these days. Now, we'll talk a little bit about the UI on each device because, again, that's very different too. The Samsung Craft uses Samsung's TouchWiz UI. So you have 3 displays here that you can slide through, and then you have a widget drawer with options for widgets. And you can also add more options to this drawer. So, if you see a widget, you want to have it on one of your displays, you simply tap it, hold it, and drag it out to that screen. So, it's very nifty. Not everyone likes TouchWiz. For some, they just don't like the way it works. But personally, I think it's a nice way to make the phone easy to customize, and also kind of gives it sort of a smartphone feel to it because you do have the widgets and the the shortcuts and the icons. There's no market per se like an app store or the Android market, but you do have some pretty good options. You can see there's the Google search. There's the Google search bar you can drag out to the display. So, there's definitely some good options, and then you have the dock at the bottom, dialer, contacts, messages, and then the main menu, which takes you to all of your options. So, that's the UI on the Craft. The Octane has, again, a pretty simple UI. The TouchWiz is something that we've seen before. We've seen it for a while, and it's the same with the UI on the Octane. So you have this display here, the home screen, 2 soft keys, messages, or message, and then contacts. And then you can go to the menu and have just basically all of your options. And these are just standard Verizon, LG options, VZ Navigator, Social Beat, mobile email, media center. So it's a very simple UI and it works very well. However, with TouchWiz you get more options. You have more features that you can have on the home screen without having to go to the menu. And it's just, it's more customizable. To me, it's more interesting too. It's a little more fun. Now, not everyone is going to like that. Not everyone is going to like the features that are available, or not everyone's going to like the widgets that are available. So, that's going to vary person to person. But just, from testing them out, I found that having shortcuts on your home screen, they just come in handy. They're nice to have there. So again, I'm going to give the edge to the Craft, but you can decide which one you prefer. Now we'll go on to the keyboard. They're both messaging phones, so you can see the Octane's physical keyboard here. We'll slide the Craft's keyboard out, take a look at that. Now the size of the keyboards is a little bit different, just because, for one thing, the Octane is a little bit shorter than the Craft, but also on the Octane you have this D-pad here, so you're not given the full space for the keyboard. You have, sort of little less space. Now the keyboard on the Octane is very well designed. You have a number pad here, you have shortcuts that take you to Social Beat, social networking. You can have a text message shortcut, and then this shortcut takes you to your favorite contacts. And the keyboard is very top-notch because it doesn't feel like a cheap physical keyboard. It's very, the build quality is great. So we'll type out a message, new text message, okay. Quick. And also, this layout and this design is something that we've seen a lot of times before, because it's much like the Envy series that were previously on Verizon. And so this keyboard style is very, very popular, and a lot of people love it. And it's a great keyboard. Obviously, Phone Dog, we've rated the Octane #1 on Verizon for messaging phones. So definitely, the best keyboard, one of the best keyboards around. Now the Craft, again, has a slight advantage because it's a little bit longer. You have a little bit more space. But some people might not like this keyboard because the keys are, they're rubbery, they're kind of soft and mushy. And some people just don't like that. So you can see there the keyboard, it's kind of the same layout. Again, you have the dedicated number row. Both keyboards have, because they have that dedicated number row, they both have the space bar in a row of letters, which, some people won't like. If you're going to use the phone a lot, chances are you're going to get used to that pretty quickly, so it won't be too big of a problem. But just, after testing out both devices, I really can't pick a winner between the keyboard because they're both very well designed, but I definitely think that, each individual will prefer one or the other because, they're very different styles. The Craft, the keys are rubber, they're more flat, they're softer, more mushy, and it's sort of a different layout. It's longer, whereas the keys on the Octane, they're kind of more solid, the solid plastic. They have sort of you can see they're curved and then an edge there on each key, and then you have this D-pad. So the keyboard layout is different, and I think each individual will prefer their own style. So that's gonna again, you'll have to maybe test them out in store, but overall both of them are definitely some of the best keyboards that I've used. So if you're worried about that, then they both have great keyboards. Now, while talking about messaging, they do both have threaded text messaging. It may seem initially that the Craft does not have threaded text messaging, but you can easily customize it and change the setup. So it does have threaded. As you can see here, it's more like a conversation instead of switching back and forth between your inbox and your outbox. The same thing with the Octane. If we go here, you can see it's set up threaded text messaging. So they do both feature threaded text messaging.